G'day traders, welcome to a wrap up of Wednesday the 25th of April. So yes, Anzac Day in Australia, but of course we're trading US markets, so no effect at all on the US markets. All the US banks are open, but on this particular day there's actually an FOMC announcement which came at 12:30, which I'll point out soon. Normally one of the biggest announcements of the year. However, this particular day didn't have a massive effect at the actual time, but leading up to the announcement, I reckon it did have a bit of an effect, and we'll walk through that soon. Got the daily chart up here. As usual, it's the same sort of approach we've been having lately. This is the actual candle that we are talking about today, the 25th of April. In hindsight, it started a lot lower. It popped up really quickly to this, this resistance area that's been holding quite well at 1386. And again, we've seen the sellers kind of at their last stand hold again and hold these buyers off from pushing up higher and really taking control of these markets. So approaching the day, you can see we're really getting multiple trends every day, so it's hard to come into the day with an actual Pacific approach, but certainly believed that the buyers could possibly come in at the start of the day, which is what did happen, but that came from yesterday afternoon, where on Tuesday the sellers had an opportunity to push lower and they failed to do it. So they looked like they had an opportunity like that, and to not go on with it shows a lack of control by the sell side. And then all of a sudden the buyers came in, and as you saw on Tuesday afternoon, we had this really strong finish to the afternoon, so that continued, and here we got the day here into this Wednesday market, and from there it pushed up, and we got some really strong markets here. And look like this this 1380s area that's been holding in the past for the sellers might have been under a bit of threat. All the markets were pushing up. However, in saying that, it was the Russell and the Nasdaq were the ones that were pushing up the strongest, and the one that was probably resisting it the most was the Dow Jones. If you look at the Dow Jones, it was showing a bit of resistance to it, and later on in the day we were getting an opportunity for potentially some buy setups. So obviously we pushed up here, and then we start getting some pullbacks here, and look to potentially get on the pullback and see a continuation of the trend. However, wasn't really interested in this area just because, especially the Dow Jones, in an area where other markets were pushing quite high, the Dow Jones was really resisting and holding to the downside as much as it could. So from there we saw this really flip around of the trend, and it didn't go up as aggressively as the buyers did, but it did get back to its cash market lows or cash market open. So we've seen this up, down, and then basically this little bit of a retracement here. So this was a 5-minute fade to the sell side, but wasn't really interested in this, and in the end I think it would have been break even at best. But throughout the day, watching the markets, it seemed like there was no cohesiveness between them. Like I said, the Dow Jones was holding the downside, whereas the Nasdaq was really trying to push up. So there's a lack of movement together there, and from that it was really hard to get a direction. And some days just don't feel comfortable, and other days you feel like you're really in the groove. On this particular day, I just felt like the markets wasn't speaking to me at all. And in those sort of days, you've got to really sit on your hands. So all through the morning session, personally didn't see a lot. And talking about FOMC, you can see this very sideways action through here. That's because of the FOMC announcement. Basically, the market goes quiet, waits for that announcement to come out, and then move. And as a result, here's the announcement here, 12:30. You can see not a major reaction. Normally, you will see a lot more movement than this. So as far as FOMC goes, nothing major. But again, there was another announcement at 2 o'clock in regards to the FOMC. So you can see here, this is this candle here. So again, this has kind of affected the market. Personally, I wasn't here for the afternoon session. I'd actually finished up at this particular lunchtime, but just going through it, you can see we pushed up again. So it looked like these buyers were really starting to gain back control. As we started the pullback here, I haven't seen the other markets or anything at this stage, but this would be an area that should hold and go on and push the upside. So this would be an area that normally would hold me, but normally would interest me. But again, because we had these FOMC announcements, especially at 2 o'clock, coming within a couple of minutes of these kind of signals approaching, again, it's the sort of one you got to leave it. And I guess these kind of days are hard. It's almost the kind of day you could be prepared to have off, just because there is so many announcements, and in the back of your mind you're always thinking, are these markets moving to their true effect, or is it basically news that's making them move, and probably moving irregularly because of that. So that was always in my back of my mind, especially in this morning session here. So but overall, this is an area that quite often would hold. You can see it hasn't. It's pushed down lower. That's probably news affected. it's basically bounced off the cash market lows again and then pushed higher, and you can see these are quite erratic extended candles, and this sort of action here, very hard to make a judgment on, and I think it's very much news driven. It's the sort of day you just want to kind of sit back, try and learn something from it, and wait till the next day's trading. Just to show you on the 1 minute chart. So here we go. Here's this push up here. This is the area where it pulled back to where you could potentially look to buy this power point, but like I said, there wasn't any cohesiveness between the markets, so it was unsure about this area. Certainly not one that I expected to work, and in the end it did fail. You can see then quite sideways movement leading up to the FOMC announcement, which happened here. From there, again, another FOMC announcement at this period here, and you can see quite a bit of movement there just to finish off the afternoon. So overall, a tough day's trading. Not a lot of opportunities, but that's just because of the particular day. FOMC announcements, and we only have these sort of days 8 times a year, so nothing to be too concerned about. We just kind of wait it off and definitely go hard again come Thursday. So that's a wrap up, and we'll speak to you guys soon.